All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming. My name is Rich Thomas. I'm a man of Mount Vernon, someone that loves our community. And when I heard the neighborhood talk about stop discounting us, I was proud to join the movement to say stop discounting us, stop discounting Mount Vernon. And we're joined by a lot of people that have real concerns about the lack of services for homelessness in our community. And we have one of our community leaders named Mike Fernandez from Echelon, who's going to talk about the need for an investment to help solve the homeless crisis in Mount Vernon. Mike?
Thanks, Rich. I appreciate that. If you don't mind if I take this. So Mount Vernon is like one of many cities across the U.S. and New York that has a huge problem with homelessness and affordable housing. You can see it growing every day in the streets. You can look on any church steps or any abandoned building and find the homeless population growing. So we're here to provide a solution. We've been working with New York City for the last number of years. We've been one of their largest permanent housing providers, not shelter providers, because shelters are needed, but shelters are a temporary solution to a bigger problem. Mount Vernon is home to my corporate office. So we see this every day, coming into work, leaving work, and a lot of my employees and my team have been kind of leading the march on this. Mainly Sabrina Powell, who's been in the streets every day, getting volunteers and really bringing awareness to what's going on. The solution that we want to bring to Mount Vernon to solve, not only solve the homeless problem, but it brings jobs to the community as well. It brings revenue for the municipality itself. One of those solutions is Mount Vernon is sitting on thousands of parcels of property that are sitting and going to waste. My company is willing to buy those parcels if there's property on them, if there's a structure on them. We would be willing to renovate and do it all out of our own pocket. We don't want any money from the city of Mount Vernon. We want to use the properties for all affordable housing. We know a lot of developers have claimed to want to get properties from the city or any municipality, and they claim to want to use them for affordable housing, and then they end up taking them a different direction. That's not what we do. Our track record is strictly and specifically affordable housing. And we've been providing housing for the homeless for the last 12 years. Excuse me, not just housing, we've been providing jobs and really building a stable foundation for them to be successful, to be independent. We have residents that have been with us for years that are now standing on their own 2 feet. They don't need public assistance anymore. A lot of them are employed by us. They became resident aides or porters or supers or something to help others that were where they once were a few years ago. So what we're offering is a circle, right? It's to bring people from where they are to where they can be successful. And there's really not that much needed from the city, just a little cooperation, and be willing to work with us, right? That's all we ask. These properties can be utilized for so many things and bring so much revenue to the city, and it would only benefit them, right? So we're here to work with anybody who wants to support what we're doing. Mr. Thomas reached out, so that's why we're here. And we want to bring awareness to what's going on. And it's not just going on in Mount Vernon, it's going on everywhere. And the problem is going to continue to get worse, right? The pandemic, caused a lot of issues for landlords. There's a lot of people that are struggling with what's going on, and there's going to be a lot of people that get evicted, right? So we need to prepare for that. You got to have a solution, and throwing shelters up is not. It's part of the answer, but it's not the full answer. We need permanent housing. That's what we need, and it has to be accompanied with services.
There you go.
The services are needed because you're taking folks that have been homeless or that have been in a certain environment for a number of years, and you're throwing them into an apartment. A lot of them, it's a shock. There needs to be a transition. You need to help turn around their physical health, their mental health, and then from there, you can start building them to be independent and be successful. Because housing is healthcare, but it can't stand on its own. It needs the support of the services. And the structure that we've built and the model that we've put together, every one of our properties has services. Our residents just have to go downstairs, and there's a clinic right downstairs that has psychiatrists, that has medical doctors, there's social workers, all readily at their disposal. Again, no money is being taken from New York City. No money would be taken from any local municipality. It's all paid for by Medicaid, right? They all have insurance. And these are services that, if you want people to be successful, you want people to stand on their own too and not rely on government subsidies for the rest of their lives, you have to combine the housing with the services. There's a smart way to do it. You've got, a lot of government municipalities, they just want to throw apartments at people. Oh, get the homeless, give them an apartment. You're only setting them up for failure. 85% will end up back in the street. That's why recidivism numbers are so high. Our recidivism numbers are less than 1%. So we're doing something right. So if it's benefiting the people, it's benefiting the municipality, all we're asking for is a little cooperation and a little additional support. And Mr. Thomas, as I said, has been the first one to reach out. So anything that we could support to support him, we're willing to do. And any other leaders that are out there, we don't lean towards one side or the other. We're here to make a difference within Mount Vernon, within the other municipalities that we work with. And it's time for everybody to come together and help with that solution rather than worrying about one side or the other. So I appreciate the time for letting me speak and voice what we see and going on, and anything we could do to help, we're here. We're right on First Avenue. We're right on First Avenue, 21st Avenue. We're on the 20 East First Avenue. Sorry, we're on the third floor. You can go to our website, echelonsociety.org. It's echelonsociety.org, or you can call 914-775-7054. Thank you. Oh, 914-775-7054.
So he covered a lot of bases and made it clear that taxpayer dollars from Mount Vernon are not necessary to solve this housing crisis, this homeless crisis. It's already paid for and funded. We just have to have the willpower to get it done. And I believe that this neighborhood and many other neighborhoods want to see a solution that's affordable, reliable, but also does not discount us. So next up to speak is going to be Jean Richardson. She's a former homeless administrator for New York City, and she's a senior in Mount Vernon that's tired of seeing dollar stores destroy our local economy, but also is tired of seeing the lack of action to fix the problems that we face. Jean?
Good morning. How homelessness is truly a disaster in Mount Vernon. All I see is Band-Aids being put on over and over. Sending people to shelters is not the answer. We need to put up some of those housings. Teach people how to live again. Because once they start living in a homeless manner, they like it. because they have to be no responsibility to nobody. So they need to learn how to come back into reentry, and they need that with the help of people like us, people who care enough to give them the responsibility to let them know that they can work, they can be responsible, they can be treated like human beings, not treated like they're a piece of garbage on the street. And that's the problem. People don't care enough to show them that this is what we need to do. Come on. I'll tell them in a minute. I got a hard hat. I'll jump in the hole and show you the way out.
Thank you, Gene. And Gene, can you just tell everybody about that one saying that you profess?
We're all one paycheck away from homelessness. Believe that.
So I'm happy that Mike was able to join us to talk about the solutions that his organization brings, and I'm happy that the neighborhood has come out to defend their neighborhood. And the plans that are on the table, behind me for this empty Western beef market, the plans are to make another dollar store. There are about 4 dollar stores within eyesight of each other from this location. And once we add another dollar store, it discounts all the other activity in this neighborhood. And we're asking the city to not discount us. Stop discounting Mount Vernon. We need solutions for big problems that we face. And we want to keep the businesses that have endured, businesses that have thrived here in Mount Vernon to continue to thrive. So behind us is an opportunity to reimagine this parcel of land, make it into something that can create homes for homelessness. There are prefabricated containers that can be established within this confines of this parcel. Each are about $15,000 each, and they provide a home plus the services that are available to it. We also need access to bathrooms, showers, washers and dryers. These facilities are also available in containers that cost about $15,000. It's a very affordable solution to provide dignity and care to our community. We don't need people defecating at the train stations. We also don't need people defecating in the rivers. We have solutions to these problems, and they're affordable. And COVID is not an excuse. COVID is the reason to fix it. COVID has provided Mount Vernon a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to invest in solutions, invest in the community. Mount Vernon has $42 million coming from President Biden, and we thank him and Senator Charles Schumer. It also has an additional $5 million coming from the federal government as aid. So a total of $47 million is available to our city. I am concerned about how that money is going to be spent. Some of you spoke to me about how concerned you are about the latest maneuver by the city to direct all that federal money to be in control of 2 people without any public input or any public insight. That's a tragedy. There's an existing structure in the Urban Renewal Agency that involves the public, that requires public comment, and it has an independent board of people that will help evaluate applications in a transparent process. So organizations like Echelon, if they decided to go after federal dollars that are available to us in Mount Vernon, they would have a fair shot at getting it. But the city went the complete opposite way. And they said, you know what, we're going to decide to do whatever we want to do with it. And I see the Rough Riders arrived. Thanks, Rough Riders. Come on up. This is a group that has been very active in addressing homelessness in Mount Vernon. And I invite you guys to speak and say a few words before I wrap up with and open up for questions.
Well, I'm Son of Selassie, representative Rough Rider to the Rescue. I'm here for Richie Thomas, my good long friend. I have no problem saying that. And right now, Mount Vernon does need a lot of change between the violence, the police, and the community. We really have to start worrying about the community, the seniors, and even the youth. So Richie, I'm passing by. Rough Rider to the Rescue. Please follow roughridertotherescue.org, and please do support Richie Mount Vernon. And anything where Richie do, please Mount Vernon support. I love you, Richie.
Thank you, Rough Riders. Thank you. Thank you for dropping by. So we'll open up for questions. Mike is available for additional comment. Gene is also available. I'm available if you have any questions. Mike? Yeah, Mike.
Sure. My name is Michael Fernandez. The organization is the Echelon Society. Echelon Society is solely geared towards helping undomiciled individuals and families, as well as providing them in-house services that wouldn't regularly be available or easily accessible to them, be it medical, be it behavioral health, ADL services, and we make these readily available within the property that they live in, or if the property is not built in such a way where we can provide the services downstairs, we have mobile medical units that actually pull up and provide the services. Sure. Yeah, so the city has many parcels of land and structures that are just sitting there. They could be returned to the tax rolls to produce revenue for the city. We were willing to come in and buy blocks of these properties, producing additional revenues for the city. We will renovate them on our own dime, and we want to use them strictly for affordable housing. It's potential, yeah. I mean, there's a list that I was just given by one of the district leaders, so there's several that we're eyeing. We're going through the list right now. We have backing from a private equity fund that believes in what we're doing, and has been buying other properties with us for some time now. So, like I said, Mount Vernon is where my corporate office is. So I see the situation just getting worse. So it's time to step in and attempt to do something here. So when that conversation comes up, a lot of it has to do with they're worried about something they don't understand, right? I get the crime, I get the situations that arise, but that all can be rectified by adding a simple process and changing up how we do things, right? Like I said before, the cities, municipalities, they think just throwing housing at somebody is a solution, right? That's not the solution. There has to be a problem. Not everybody is ready for housing. You have to meet them where they're at. Some people need to go into a program, right? Some people need to go into a stricter, more I don't know the word. Structured environment. Thank you, Rich. And then once they graduate from that, then they're ready for housing, right? So you have to be able to meet people where they're at. So there's a screening process that we implement with the residents that we house. We do a full biopsychosocial with our social workers to make sure that we're placing the right folks in the right place, right? So really a lot of it boils down to education and having a conversation on how things are structured and how things are done. This way people can have an understanding. And believe it or not, I'll be very honest with you, before I totally transitioned into this, I used to work for a hedge fund, and we had numbers of buildings, and we had tons of regular blue-collar working folks, and I also had regular traditional types of tenants, blue-collar folks in my personal properties. And you know that I had a better experience, and they took care of my properties better when I put homeless families and homeless individuals in my properties. They took care of it better. they appreciated it more. So that's one of the things that also led us to dedicate all of our properties and all of our time to doing this.
No, just a question.
Sure.
The homeless issue is not a secret and is not
Right.
exclusive to Mount Vernon.
Of course not.
It's everywhere.
Absolutely.
Have you or the former mayor approached the current administration with the possible solution for the problems in Mount Vernon, and what was the reaction?
That's a good way to say this. So yes, I've spoken to the mayor a couple of times, and talks have just begun. Okay, so I can't say what their decision's going to be because I don't know. It'd be an unfair thing for me to say. I realize the mayor has a lot of things on her plate, right? I know there's a lot of things in the city that needs to be dealt with and handled, but there has to be attention put on this because this is a situation that needs to be solved. It's only going to benefit everybody. So I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do when it comes to this, but now they know officially that I'm here to work with them, right? So I can't say it any louder than saying it here, right?
But was the reaction positive? Okay,
Yeah.
we're going to listen.
She definitely cares about the city. She definitely wants to make it better, and I think that that they are definitely going to do something. What? I don't know. Is it my solution? Is it something I can't answer, right?
I wanted to ask a question. Are they talking about putting a homeless facility here?
Oh, that would.
So there was another question I was asked on top of the previous question. The proposal for the parcel behind us is for another dollar store. And that doesn't serve the purpose of economic development. It does not serve the purpose of providing jobs and real investment into our community. It's a nice investment for the building, but not build up Mount Vernon. It discounts Mount Vernon. So we're as a neighborhood, we're asking the city to reconsider the approach here and look at alternative options to activate this parcel. It could be a homeless housing facility that provides services. It could be another business that wants to open up, but it can't be another dollar store that's going to destroy the economy of this neighborhood. You have 4 dollar stores surrounding it already, and you have a small bodega that has been here through thick and thin, helping raise kids, providing safety to families in fear of some of the situations that they face right here. So we don't want them to be pushed out of business because it's convenient for a big corporation to just drop a dollar store in. We want to see a real investment and a real reimagining, and we're asking the city to reconsider how they use the millions of dollars that are available to them to solve this crisis. And, it's hard to say what the priorities are. There's a lot going on in the city, to answer your question from Yonkers Voice. What I do hope is that more action is taken. And when I look very carefully at the comments that are all over the place, be it on social media, be it on in the paper, in the news, you have people that are defecating at our train stations. People go to work in New York City. It's a terrible signal for quality of life, not just for them, but it's also a terrible signal that we're not taking care of the least of us. So we also need to recruit and work closer with the MTA and their organization to help address this problem, because it's a shared problem and we want to solve it together. So I hope the administration hears the community, hears the neighborhood. I hope the administration really thinks carefully about how they're going to use the $42 million, and I hope they have a public, transparent process for how we're going to divide those dollars across the issues that need to be addressed. These are just a sampling of ideas. Each container is about $15,000, be it for a home or for a bathroom, washers and dryers. I mean, it's not that much money to help solve a problem. You're talking about less than about $700,000 to provide services to the homeless in Mount Vernon with dignity and care, but also without relying on property taxes. So this is a no-brainer.
So, Mayor, so what you're saying is that Mount Vernon needs lots of things, but another dollar store is not one of them.
That is absolutely correct. Mount Vernon needs lots of things, but not another dollar store. Stop discounting us. Don't discount Mount Vernon. So dollar stores provide activity. They provide a certain amount of jobs. They can be about maybe 12. They're decent jobs, but they're not the jobs that we need right now, and they're not the jobs that invest in our community. And the fact that we have 4 dollar stores within a 1-block radius of this location does a disservice to proper economic planning, proper urban planning. And it should be really carefully considered in that context, because you have multiple dollar stores already here. And I'm pretty sure if you talk to them, they will share the same concern. But if you talk to the bodega owner who has survived here for many years through all sorts of situations, good and bad, we don't want to see this establishment pushed out because right next door, a dollar store is discounting him, undercutting his prices, and it's unnecessary, especially given there's 4 dollar stores around this 1-block radius. You have a question right here?
Yes. Of all the biddings for this property, are there no bids for another supermarket? Which is what we need.
So in terms of another supermarket, hang on, Gene, come up here, Gene. Bring up here, that way everybody can hear. So there's unfortunately a lack of imagination on that, but we definitely need a supermarket in this neighborhood as well, like Russian Beef was.
Yes. But you had a question?
Yeah, so, you said that it was a Western Beach supermarket here.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking for something like that, it's another dollar store in this neighborhood, what would you like to see?
Basically, a supermarket would be fine for the people in the neighborhood, that they could come out and go to the supermarket. Instead of have to going across town, it'd be something right in their own range. They can come across the street and get their groceries, produce, fruit, vegetables, everything that they need. If they can't put a supermarket there, let's put this up, right there. Homes for the homeless, and get the programs working again. Find out what's going on with the people. If they're MICA, give them what they need. If you don't know what MICA is, it's mentally ill, chemically abused. And there's a lot of people that's homeless on the street and they're suffering with that. They need to be on medication. They need to be sought at. They need help. And that's why crime is the way it is. People walking around the street and they're getting hit in the head with this, that, and the other. Because you have people having mental outbursts. Nobody's taking care of mental health anymore. That's become not important, and it's very important. It's just as important as our regular health. Mental health is very important, and the homeless people are suffering from it, along with other people, but they're suffering with it more because nobody's looking after them. They're not getting the care that they need. That's why they're defecating at the train station, in the subway. They're doing the things that they're doing. In the parks, it doesn't matter. They don't care because nobody cares for them.
We do.
But we care. Give us a few minutes and we'll care more. And we'll show you that it works. I'll put together a program and show you it works every day. every day.
Can you say your name again?
Jean Richardson.
You used to work for the city.
I worked for West Hab. I worked for Partnership of the Homeless. I worked for Camber in Brooklyn. Spent 30 years in homelessness. I've done seniors, singles, families, children. And I've done MICA.
So again, in a nutshell, what do you think is the best plan is to solve a homeless problem in Mount Vernon? Is it
To create a program, have homes ready for them, but first of all, to establish which each individual needs, what kind of program they need to get into to get their progress going, because everyone that's homeless is not suffering from the same thing. So you can't give them the same remedy. Like you can sit down and give somebody spaghetti, and you can give everybody at the table spaghetti, but you can't give them that when it's homelessness. We don't know the situation that took them to homelessness, and we don't know the effect that it played on their mental, emotional attitude. See, these are the things that we're facing. It's just not, I didn't wake up this morning and say, oh, I want to be homeless, and they didn't either. They woke up to a situation that they couldn't handle and couldn't get no help to handle it. So we need to put a handle on it for them to show them how. Not a crutch, not a Band-Aid, a handle. Show them, come on, we'll walk with you. I told you. I'll tell them in a minute. I got a hard hat. I'll put it on. I'll jump in the hole and show you the way out.
Thank you, Gene. And I just want to thank also, not just Gene, but also want to thank Mike for being conscious capital. You know, we often hear about capitalism exploiting people and exploiting the system. But hearing Mike talk about how his program is socially responsible is tremendous. So, Mike, I just want to say thank you so much for being woke and having conscious capital. And any final questions before we wrap?
Well, Mayor, I have a question, but it's unrelated to these,
What's your question?
but very related to Mount Vernon. There was a press release this morning from Mount Vernon Mount Vernon News Center,
Okay.
that the city trucks, police, first responders are working in a budget gas, 5 gallons a day. How do you feel about that?
All right, so I just want to repeat the question so everybody can hear it. There's a crisis in City Hall, and we're being told that there's a fuel shortage, and we're being told that the fire department has only access to 5 gallons per shift. We're being told that the police department has only access to 5 gallons per shift, and that's a disgrace. And to know that the resources are there to provide safety to the community, and to know that not enough action is being taken to solve the fuel crisis is very upsetting, and it's very discouraging. But I offer encouragement to everyone in City Hall to please take action. There's a solution to solve the fuel crisis. It involves changing banks and holding the controller accountable. The controller has been allowed to create this crisis. It's a danger to everyone's lives, and it's a danger to those that are providing emergency services. There's no real shortage of fuel. It's just a shortage of willpower to fix the problem. So I'm doing my best to hold back my anger on this, but it's beyond time to fix this issue with the controller and stop with the games. There are too many people's lives on the line. I mean, God forbid a fire breaks out, or as you see, an emergency happens, and they run out of gas on the way.
No.
Or they can't put out the fire because they can't get there. How many lives are at risk? 80,000 people just because you don't want to pay the gas bill or overtime? It's absurd.
Well, Mayor, I want to just make it clear that the shortage is not on gas, it's on the payments.
The shortage on payments, yeah, and any vendor would stop sending their product for not being paid. I mean, I understand that, you know, vendors have to make money, but it's very frustrating to see that we have the money. We collect the most taxes in Westchester County as a city. Westchester County is one of the most taxed counties in the country. So that means Mount Vernon pays the highest taxes in the nation. How come we're not getting the value out of our dollar? And it goes back to stop discounting us. Don't discount Mount Vernon. Do the right thing with our hard-earned tax dollars and protect the community. And it's unfortunate, but the administration and the council have not acted. They need the will to act to change banks and then hold the bank accountable for enabling this payment crisis. The bank should be bankrolling the solution, not making the problem worse. But it's all up to the administration and the city council as to what they're going to do. We already know that they went the other way on $42 million that's coming to the city. They went the non-transparent, undemocratic way. I would never have done that. I would go through the transparent public process that's in place. But we need help. We need real help here. And that's where I hope that the community continues to rally around. Stop discounting us. Don't discount Mount Vernon.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Don't discount Mount Vernon.